أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي زدني علما سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear friends, brothers and sisters, and who are watching through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a great pleasure for me to attend this Tafsirul Mahfil, and for that reason, at the commencement of this Tafsirul Mahfil, I would like to express my deep gratitude to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the only one creator of everything and who has given us opportunity to join this Tafsirul Mahfil. And for this reason, let us say, Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, in today's Tafsirul Mahfil, we shall have a discussion on verse number 37 from Suratun Nur. So as usual, at first we shall go to the recitation as well as meaning of this verse. Then inshallah we shall go to the elaborate discussion. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, most beneficent. Rijalul la tulhihim tijaratu wala bayun an zikrillah. People who are not diverted from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as well as from offering regular prayers and paying zakat because of their business. يَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا تَتَقَلَّبُ فِيهِ الْقُلُوبُ وَالْأَبْصَارُ, because they are afraid, they are in fear about the horror situation of that day, the situation that will change, that will turn their hearts and eyesight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless your Prophet and servant, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this was the meaning, as well as this was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 37, ayat number 37 from Suratun Nur. Suratun Nur is surah number 24 from the Holy Qur'an. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has narrated one of the virtue, one of the characteristic of a believer of Islam, of a mu'min, that means believer of Islam. In this world, in order to live our life, in order to lead our life, we are involved with financial activities, because without finance support, one cannot lead his life in this world happily, rightly. So in order to lead a good life in this world, we need money, and for that reason we are involved with many financial activities, many financial functions. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the believers of Islam must have a virtue, and that is necessary for a believer of Islam, for a mu'min. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised them. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِيهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. Those people who are not diverted because of their trade and business from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and from offering regular prayer and from paying zakat. A Muslim, a mu'min, a believer of Islam will never forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A believer of Islam will never forget to offer 5 times regular prayer. It is mandatory, obligatory to each and every believer of Islam to offer 5 times prayer, to pay zakat, and to obey the rules and regulations of Islam in all respect, in all position. A believer of Islam will never give up offering 5 times prayer. A believer of Islam will never give up paying zakat. A believer of Islam will never give up remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because يَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا تَتَقَلَّبُ فِيهِ الْقُلُوبُ وَالْأَبْصَارُ. Because a believer of Islam is aware, a believer of Islam knows that on the day of judgment, the situation will be very horror, the situation will be very dangerous, and the situation, the horror situation will change, will turn everyone's eyesight as well as everyone's heart. So in order to avoid the horror situation of the day of judgment, a believer of Islam will never give up remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will never give up offering 5 times prayer. He will never give up paying zakat. He will never forget to obey the rules and regulations of Islam. So in verse number 37, Suratun Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has narrated one of the virtues of a believer of Islam. Now inshallah, we shall go to some other verses from the Holy Qur'an. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First relevant verse in today's tafsir is part of verse number 275 from Suratul Baqarah. In verse number 275 Suratul Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَأَحَلَ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted to do trade and commerce, to do business, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited to be involved with interest. Being a Muslim, in order to live our life, in order to lead our life in this world, because our beloved Prophet has said, Al-yadul ulya khayrun min yadis sufla. Hence, those give are better than the hands those who receive. So our beloved Prophet has inspired us to do financial activities in this world, so that we may not be dependent to others in order to lead our life in this world. And for that reason, our beloved Prophet has said in Sahih Hadith, Al-yadul ulya khayrun min yadus sufla. The hands those give are better than the hands those receive. That means Islam is inspiring us to be a charity giver. Islam does not inspire us to be a charity receiver. So, in order to live our life in this world, in order to lead our life in this world, we shall be involved with financial activities. But we shall have to remember one thing, that these financial activities, financial functions, cannot be a bar, a barricade for us regarding remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regarding offering 5 times regular prayer, regarding paying zakat, regarding obeying the rules and regulations of Islam. We must remember on that point on each and every moment. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in verse number 275, وَأَحَلَ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has permitted to do trade, commerce and business, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited to be involved with interest. Many of our members of our society are being involved with the interest. They are leading their life, luxurious life, being involved with the interest. Islam does not allow this. It is against Islam, because interest can never bring welfare for a society. It is always harmful in all respect. So this was verse number 275 from Suratul Baqarah, relevant in today's tafsir. Now verse number 29 from Suratun Nisa is also relevant in today's tafsir. Here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la ta'kulu amwalakum bainakum bil batil illa an takuna tijaratan an taraddim minkum. O believers of Islam, do not eat up, do not grab the property of others by unfair means illegally, until and unless with business agreed by both parties. Here I have selected this verse because the word tijaratun has been used by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because tijaratun means business, trade, commerce. Business is admissible in Islam. Business is permissible in Islam. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directing us to restrain us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is restraining us to grab property of others, to eat up property of others, assets of others by unfair means, illegally. So this was verse number 29 from Suratun Nisa, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 40. In order to lead our life as per rules and regulations of Islam, we must try first. If we do not try first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not help us. And in verse number 40 from Suratul Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَا يَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهَ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ وَلَا يَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهَ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. Those who help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps him. Here, helping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means those who try to obey the rules and regulations of Islam, those who try to remain on the basis of rules and regulations of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps them. That means in order to remain on the right path, in order to lead our life accurately, rightly, as per rules and regulations of Islam, at first we shall try. If we do not try, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not help us. So this was verse number 40 from Suratul Hajj. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 7 from Suratun Muhammad. About the same thing has been also uttered here. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu in tansurullaha yansurkum wa yusabbit aqdamakum. O believers of Islam, if you help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help them. As I have already said. In verse number 40 Suratul Hajj, same thing has been uttered here. If we try first, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us. And if we try first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not only help us, but also yusabbit aqdamakum. He will make our legs, our steps firm, determined. If we try first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase our intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase our firm determination. So this was verse number 7 from Surah Muhammad. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 16 from Surah Qaf. Being a Muslim, being a believer of Islam, we shall always remember one thing. Nowadays, it is seen in our society that people of four corners, we used to see that their main target is to achieve, to obtain a good job. And after obtaining a good job, he will receive salary up to his retirement, and he will receive pension after his retirement till death. We shall have to remember one thing. We have not been sent in this world by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only to receive salary and pensions. Someone always try to establish a good business in order to earn a lot of money. We have not been sent in this world only to earn money, Only earning money cannot be our only motto, cannot be our only purpose, cannot be our only aim. We shall have to always remember one thing, that we have been sent in this world by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Suratun Zariyat, I have created man and jinn only to do ibadat. That means only to worship for Him. We have been sent here only to worship for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for nothing else. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not mean that we shall always remain in the mosque and we shall remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No. Worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means that we shall lead our personal life, we shall lead our family life, we shall lead our social life, we shall lead our national life as per rules and regulations given in this holy book. And that will be the best worship. If we follow the rules and regulations of Holy Qur'an in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, in our state life, as per our capacity, that will be the best worshipping for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shall, obviously we must offer 5 times regular prayer. Obviously we must pay zakat. Obviously we must keep fasting. Obviously we must go to the holy Makkah and Medina to offer the Hajj. And after that, it will be our main aim, main purpose, main motto, that we shall lead our personal life, our family life, our social life, as well as our national life on the basis of rules and regulations given in this holy book. This will be our main motto, and this will be the main worship for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And being a Muslim, we shall always remember that we are always being perused, we are always being observed by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is observing us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perusing us. Our all the activities are being perused by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the throne, from the Arush Azim, from the throne. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perusing us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is observing us, sitting on His throne. And in verse number 16 from Suratun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, verse number 16 from Suratun, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I have created man. وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ, I know what is in his heart. Sometimes we think many things, but we do not express. Either we express our thinking or not, but our thinking in the heart are being known by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is in our heart, what our soul whispers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it. Why? How He knows it? In the next portion of this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is replying that, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I am nearer to you than your jugular vein. Jugular vein, it is a vein in our neck. Medical students and doctors are very much aware about this vein. This vein is very vital for us. This vein is so near to us, very near to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I am nearer to you than the jugular vein. So, being a Muslim, we shall always remember that sitting on the Arsh Azim, sitting on his throne, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perusing our all activities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching our all activities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing our all activities. Moreover, there are two angels on our right and left. They have been termed in the Holy Qur'an as Kiraman Katibin. Kiraman Katibin means the respected writer. There is an angel in our right side. He used to write down our good deeds. And there is another angel in our left side. He used to write down our bad deeds, wrong deeds. Both the angels have been termed by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the Kiraman Katibin, the respected writers. The angels on the right, he is also a respected writer, and angels on the left, he is also respected writers of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, two angels are always with us. Two angels are always with us, and they are recording our activities, either good or bad. Everything are being recorded here. Everything are being recorded by them. And moreover, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sitting on the Arsh Azim, on the throne, on his throne, he is watching everything. He is nearer to us than our jugular vein. So this was verse number 16 from Suratun Qaf, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 10 to 13 from Suratun Saf. Today we are discussing in verse number 37 from Suratun Nur regarding business, regarding trade and commerce. And this verse is relevant with the verse number 37 from Suratun Nur. Here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, verse number 10 to 13. يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومساكين طيبة في جنات عدن ذلك الفوز العظيم وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين. The members of Quraysh, the members of the non-believers used to do business. They were very much familiar with doing business because by doing business they used to make money. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting them towards the Tawheed, towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by giving an example related with business, trade and commerce. Here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting the non-believers of Islam by saying, يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم. O the believers, shall I tell you about a business that will save you, from the painful punishment, from the grievous punishment. Being a Muslim, we believe that after our death, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive all the makhluks, all the creatures. All the creatures will be revived again. So after meeting our death, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive us. in order to take accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. And if we do good deeds, we shall be permitted to enter in the Jannah, in the heaven. We shall be admitted in the heaven. And if we do not do good deeds, that means if we do not bring faith on Allah and His Messenger and on this holy book, on the day of judgment, we will be among the losers. And if we are among the losers, we shall face painful punishment. We shall have to face painful punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, whether shall I tell you about a business, that business will save you from the painful punishment. What is the business? تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتُجَاهِدُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ بِأَمْوَالِكُمْ وَأَنفُسِكُمْ. And the business is, you bring faith on Allah and His Messenger, and you struggle on the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your life and with your assets. ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And that is the better for you, have you known. يَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ وَيُدْخِلْكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِن تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ وَمَسَاكِينَ طَيِّبَةً فِي جَنَّاتِ عَدْنٍ. And if you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive your all sins, and He will admit you in the heaven, and the heaven beneath which, under which rivers are being flown. What a nice dwelling place the heaven is. ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. And that will be the best success. That will be the greatest success. وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. The facilities of entering in the Jannah, it is in the life of hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying on the next verse that not only after death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us benefits also in this world. وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا. And another which you like, because we used to have benefits during this world, in this world. وَأُخْرَى تُحِبُّونَهَا. And another thing which you like. نَصْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَفَتْحٌ قَرِيبٌ. I shall help you in this world and you will get victory. Allahu Akbar. وَبَشِّرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. O Prophet, give the good news to the believers of Islam. That means if we follow Islam, if we follow the rules and regulations of Islam, we shall not only get benefit in the life of hereafter, we shall not only get benefit in the life of hereafter, but also in the life of here. Because in the battle of Badr, in the battle of Uhud, in the battle of Khandaq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent His angels to help the Muslims, and the non-believers were defeated. So if we follow the rules and regulations of Islam completely, fully, without any negligence, without any lacuna, obviously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send His angels to help us in this world, inshallah. So this was verse number 10 to 13 from Suratun, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 9 to 11 from Suratul Jumu'ah. Suratul Jumu'ah, here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated about tijara, business. And for this reason I have selected this verse number 9 to 11. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله min fadlillahi wazkurullaha kaseeran la'allakum tuflihun wa idza ra'aw tijaratan aw lahwan faddu ilayha wa tarakuka qa'ima قل ما عند الله خير من الله ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. This surah was revealed during the prophetic life of our beloved Prophet in Medina. One day our beloved Prophet was giving a speech in the Jummah prayer, giving khutbah, speech. And at that time, famine, want, lack of food was prevailing there. When our beloved Prophet was delivering speech, delivering khutbah, at that time a group of community, a business community came in Medina to sell out foods. Most of the Muslims, male or female, went outside the mosque to purchase foods, leaving our beloved Prophet while he was delivering speech. Only 12 companions of our beloved Prophet, Khulafai Rashidins are among them, remained present. At that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this surah. Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu iza nudiya lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ah. Oh, believers of Islam, when call for Jummah prayer will be given, you fas'aw ila zikrillahi wa zarul bay'. You go swiftly to offer prayer, leaving the trade and commerce. Zalikum khairul lakum in kuntum ta'lamun, and that is the better for you if you know. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. And whenever you will complete the Jummah prayer, you will spread on the earth to seek sustenance from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala most. And if you do that, it is hoped that you will be succeeded. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انفَضُّوا إِلَيْهَا وَتَرَكُوكَ قَائِمًا. And that facts have been revealed here. That when my Prophet is giving speech, when my Prophet is delivering khutbah, delivering speech, you leave them alone and go there. قُلْ مَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ مِّنَ اللَّهْوِ مِنَ التِّجَارَةِ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الرَّازِقِينَ. O Prophet, tell the people, tell the Muslims that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has is better than games and sports and trade and commerce. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best sustenance giver. So, in order to earn money, we must do our financial activities. But at the time of doing financial activities, we shall not forget remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We shall not forget to offer 5 times regular prayer. We shall not forget to pay zakat. We shall not forget to keep fasting. We shall not forget to complete Hajj. We shall not forget to obey the rules and regulations of Islam while we are involved with financial activities. We shall always remember these things. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 9 to 11 from Suratul Munafiqun. Verse number 9 to 11 from Suratul Munafiqun are also relevant in today's tafsir. Here Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَدَّقَ وَأَكُن مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ وَلَنْ يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Verse number 9 to 11 from Suratul Munafiqun. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, O the believers, la tulhikum amwalukum wala auladukum an zikrillah. O believers, your children and your assets may not divert you from the remembrance of Islam. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. If you do that, you will be among the losers. وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ. And you spend money before the death comes to you. أَيَّتِي أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتُ فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ فَأَصَدَّقَ وَأَكُن مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And if you do not spend money before the death comes to you, and when death comes, you say, Oh Allah, give me some time, I will spend my all money. وَلَا يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. That time, no extension will be given. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَاللَّهُ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything what we are doing. So, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us vast property, we must make charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We must spend this money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the death comes to us. Because if death comes to us, if our time fixed comes to an end, and if at that time we seek some extension, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give us any extension. So being a Muslim, we shall always remember that we shall obey rules and regulations of Islam during our lifetime. And we shall do everything as per rules and regulations of Islam, as per directions of Islam. And if we do that, we shall be succeeded. Now inshallah we shall go to some relevant hadith in today's tafsir. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لو كان لابن آدم واديان من مال لابتغى ثالثا ولا يملأ جوف ابن آدم إلا التراب ويتوب الله على من تاب. رواه البخاري ومسلم. This hadith has been narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, if my followers are given assets full of 2 valleys, 2 hills, they will seek the third one. Their bellies are only fulfilled by the soil, but whoever seek forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them. So, earning money cannot be our only motto. Earning money should not be our only motto. As at the beginning of the tafsir I said, nowadays it is seen, it is perused, it is found towards our 4 corners that people are serious in obtaining a good job so that he may receive salary till his retirement, and after his retirement he will receive pensions. We should remember one thing. We have not been sent in this world by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only to receive salary and pensions. Sometimes most of our friends and brothers and sisters, their main motto is to earn money by doing business or other financial activities. Only earning money cannot be our only motto. And if we do that, we will be among the losers in the life of hereafter. Next relevant hadith in today's tafsir is an Qab bin Ayat radiyallahu anhu qala sami'tu Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam yaqul inna likulli ummatin fitnata wa fitnatu ummatil mal rawahu at-Tirmidhi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala examined all the followers of all the prophets and messengers by giving a test. And in this hadith our beloved Prophet is saying, the test for my followers is assets. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Next hadith is an Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu an Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala luina abdud dinar wa luina abdud dirham rawahu Tirmidhi. Our beloved Prophet said, those who run after money, who run after dinar and dirham, our beloved Prophet said, curse for them. Only running after money means obtaining curse from our beloved Prophet. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Luina abdud dinar wa luina abdud dirham. Rawahu Tirmidhi. An Abi Sa'id radhiyallahu anhu qala قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم التاجر الصدوق الأمين مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء رواه الترمذي. Doing business is a sunnah because our beloved Prophet has done business. Our beloved Prophet was involved with business. Among the Khulafai Rashidin, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu was a good businessman. Hazrat Umar Faruk radhiyallahu anhu was a good businessman. Hazrat Usman Ghani, he was a very renowned businessman. Doing business is a sunnah. But we shall have to do business as per rules and regulations of Holy Qur'an and Hadith. And if we do that, at-tajiru saduqul aminu ma'an nabiyina wa siddiqina wa shuhada. A faithful businessmen, they will be with the prophets and messengers, with the truthful, with the martyred who sacrificed their life for the sake of Islam. Rawahu Tirmidhi. Next relevant hadith, it is very much applicable nowadays. Each and every hadith are applicable nowadays, but it is seen a lot. It is seen a lot because nowadays deceiving people has become a tradition in our society. Everyone wants to deceive people. Everyone wants to cheat people. An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam marra ala subratin tu'ami fa adkhala yadahu fiha فنالت أصابعه بلالا فقال ما هذا يا صاحب الطعام قال أصابته السماء يا رسول الله قال أفلا جعلته فوق الطعام حتى يراه الناس من غش فليس منا رواه مسلم. One day our beloved Prophet was walking through a pile of crops. That means a man piled his crops to sell out. The crops at the upper side were dry. Our beloved Prophet entered his hands in the middle of the crops, and whenever he brought his hand out, he found his finger wet. That means some crops were wet, and the seller of the crops, in order to deceive people, kept the wet crops in the middle so that men cannot see it. When our beloved Prophet entered his hand in the middle of the crops and brought out his hand, he found his fingers wet. He told, Qala, Ma haza ya sahibu ta'ami. Oh, owner of the crops, What is this? The owner of the crops said, because of rain, crops were wet. Our beloved Prophet said, why haven't you kept these wet crops at the upper side so that people can see it? Remember, man gosha falaysa minna. Remember, whoever cheats people, whoever deceives people, he is not among us. Rawahu Muslim. That means deceiving people, cheating people means rejecting Islam. So, we shall always be careful that we shall not deceive any people. Because deceiving people, cheating people means deceiving people, cheating people amounts to reject Islam. Man gosha falaysa minna. Rawahu Muslim. Now inshallah, we shall have prayer to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before offering prayer, let us recite durood. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما صليت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى ال محمد كما باركت على ابراهيم وعلى ال ابراهيم انك حميد مجيد اللهم امين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا رب هب لي من الصالحين اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى والله. Some of your servants have been gathered here in this Tafsirul Mahfil, and we have discussed from your Holy Qur'an and Sahih Hadith, and we have made many mistakes. Please forgive our all mistakes and accept this Tafsirul Mahfil. O Allah, forgive our all sins. O Allah, increase our sustenance. O Allah, help the Muslims of the world, especially the Muslims of the Palestine are being oppressed by the Bani Israel. O Allah, destroy the Bani Israel from this world. O Allah, help the Palestinians. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.